Hey guys, welcome to Double Shot of Steelers. I'm Dejan Kovacevic. He's Chris Halleck. We're from DK Pittsburgh Sports. This program is brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook, where you can engage in all kinds of so-called off-season activity. There's really no off-season at FanDuel. They're offering all kinds of games and plays that you can execute in everything. Just go look. I was going to start listing them for you, but it's going to be insulting to your intelligence. It's everything. It's everything.
It's everything. It is the NFL. You can already get a head start in the 2026 season. You can bet on the Super Bowl winner, who's going to win the AFC, the NFC, who's going to win each of the divisions, who's going to win the MVP, and then looking just more current. Like right now, there's this thing called March Madness coming up. And FanDuel is going to be all over that. Every sport that you can think of, FanDuel has everything that you need for your sports betting needs.
Yeah, there's nothing like March Madness when it comes to this.
Oh my gosh!
People who are never ever involved get involved, and you're talking about somebody here who can't name 64 colleges, and I don't even think it's just 64 anymore. And isn't it like 68 or?
Yeah, there are the two or four playing games. That I think it's 4 playing games, so it's an additional 8 teams or 8 colleges that have that. They end up getting in the actual big bracket.
Insane the number of teams that qualify, and they just keep expanding because there's just more money.
Oh yeah,
around every bend they go, and then on top of that, they have the NIT. As if like more of this is needed. So you have like a total of like 100 teams are participating in something. Anyway, Chris is out at the NFL Scouting Combine, which officially begins today. The meat market component to it doesn't really get going until Thursday. Mm-hmm. What happens on a Monday, Chris? What happens on Monday at the Combine?
Everybody's arriving. Everybody's doing what I'm doing.
It's reporting day.
Yeah, I'm at my hotel, right here. I'm in the lobby because they didn't have my room ready whenever I got here. So I'm doing the same thing a lot of teams are doing. You're getting ready. And tomorrow is when things kind of officially kick off. Omar Khan will speak to reporters like myself that traveled here from Pittsburgh, and then he'll do a podium session with the extended media that all traveled to Indianapolis, and he won't be the only executive or coach that talks. So that'll be tomorrow, where you hear from just about every GM, and then a few head coaches, not all of them, but a few head coaches also do a podium session. And then Wednesday is when the players start talking, and then that's when the meat market thing starts to get going.
And that's actually the funny thing is, a lot of people won't realize this, but reporters who go there, not just Chris, you're not sitting out there watching these guys run 40s. It's actually very, very little to do with what your job is. All of that stuff gets recorded. Mm-hmm. All of that, and by recorded, I don't just mean obviously on video. I mean you just see the numbers. Oh, well, here's what so-and-so did on his 40. Then you have a chance to catch up on news. If something happens, somebody falls flat on their face or pulls a hamstring or whatever it is, you're going to know about it. The rest of the stuff is really where the work is done. There's just so many people there. You were saying to me last week, and I've done a gazillion Major League Baseball winter meetings. That's what it is. Everybody's under one figurative roof, and you can't get enough information from these people.
No, this is the equivalent of what I would call the NFL's or the MLB's winter meetings. Like, this is the NFL spring meeting, I guess. If that's what you want to unofficially dub it. The owners' meetings isn't really that, because you have the head coaches and the owners and the GMs there. But this is also, you have a lot of agents that are here with their players, with the players that are going to be working out. A lot more of the coaches are here. Like, just about every coach for every team is going to be here. A lot of people, and there's a lot of networking that goes on. not just from a reporting standpoint, but from a team-to-team standpoint, and then obviously teams meeting with players formally or informally. And that networking goes on from when things really start getting underway tomorrow. That really starts going on, whether it be like early in the morning, and then I can't even begin to describe how late at night I have been up networking and reporting and gathering information. Like, that's just all this is. This entire week is just nothing but from dusk, or from dawn to dusk and well beyond dusk. It's just a gigantic networking bubble. And yeah, it's the equivalent of what you would call MLB's winter meetings.
As Omar Khan prepares to meet with reporters tomorrow, I think he has to, you don't rehearse these things, but I think that he has to understand that this is not one of those press conferences where he wants to make a mistake, where he wants to blurt out something that's not beneficial to the Steelers to have blurted out. And at the same time, and I know from dealing with the guy on a regular basis, and including, on the record, off the record, whatever, just having conversations, he's a truth teller. He's not telling you everything. There's a difference. But he's also not a liar. So when you ask Omar, what do you consider your needs to be as a football team, there's a really good chance he's just going to answer it.
Agreed.
When you ask Omar, do you have any regrets? Remember, this is the first time anybody's getting Omar in a football only setting since the end of the season. You have any regrets about the last 2 years as it relates to the wide receiver position? There are questions to be asked of him. And if he says too much, maybe he overplays his hand in public and puts himself in a little bit lesser of a bargaining position, say regarding a certain player, or even a position of need where an agent will sense, they really, really need this. Like, this is an example. Malik Willis isn't technically, legally anything a free agent right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if Chris were to ask Omar, what do you think of Malik Willis? He's going to say, I think he's property of the Green Bay Packers. Okay. He's not
a free agent yet. Yeah.
Right. So don't expect something like that. But if you ask him about, how he feels about the quarterback position in general, what he wants to see from the Steelers quarterback in the year 2026, maybe there's something there. Maybe he does lay something out. You know what I'm saying, Chris?
Oh yeah, and as you're talking, and the way you described Omar is perfect, because when he wants to say something, he usually tells you straight up. There's no sugarcoating it.
He goes out of his way.
Yeah, he'll be very, very truthful, and he'll let you know. But this is also an opportunity, because remember, if they are interested in whether it be addressing wide receiver or whatever position, they're not allowed to talk with agents yet. And even though agents will be here, he can't negotiate there. That is tampering. You're not allowed to tamper until March 9th, whenever it's legal tampering. But what you can do is,
can you see the bank across the street? Can you see it? If I get out of the way here, look at that. See that? You could go over there. Oh, now the bus is going in front of it. You can go over there and commit legal robbery.
Yeah, I know.
But only a certain time period.
It's the stupidest term ever created. But what you can do with a session like the one he's going to have tomorrow, and even the one after that where he talks to the extended media, is if he's asked about wide receiver, if he's asked like, hey, do you want to be aggressive in adding a wide receiver in free agency or something like that? That's actually the time to put the big sign out there to all the agents without actually talking to them. Yeah, we're interested. We want to go out there. We want to get a guy. Because you can't be texting the agents and be like, listen, when your guy hits the market, we're really interested. That's tampering. You can't do that. So you can put the feeler out there through the media. So there could be some answers that we get from him that are actually useful. But no, he's not going to say everything. He's not going to tip their hand on everything they're doing.
I was asked the other day by a listener to the morning show, that I do, if I felt that Omar was under any kind of pressure or any kind of heat, and meaning entering the 2026 season. And I'm just going to admit to you here that I was really just reflexively downplayed it because I'm picturing Omar as being there for the next 30 years.
Mhm.
It's part of how the Steelers roll, and Omar's such a part of the family and everything else. Then I thought to myself, one of the things that happens when you change the biggest position on your team, I mean, that being head coach, because it's the one that has fingers in every single football pie
Mhm.
in your organization, you're kind of moving that shield a little bit, because now you're next. That guy is new. He just showed up.
Mhm.
We still kind of like him.
Yep.
What about you? Aren't you the guy that hasn't gotten us a WR2 for a couple of years in a row? I'm going to ask you if you feel that Omar feels that he'd be under any kind of extra pressure or whatever. I mean, I know what his answer would be. We always feel that. We feel that every day. That's it, because he learned that answer from Kevin Colbert.
Mhm.
But I'm talking about actually feeling it.
I think so. When he answers tomorrow, and yes, it'll be your typical rehearsed answer, but I guarantee you, one of the first things he says, it will mention something about, well, we didn't win the Super Bowl last year, so we fell short of our goal. And he doesn't now. Yes, that's a rehearsed answer.
It is. It's
But
stock.
It is. But I also know, and through having conversations with him off the record, which obviously can't share any of the details on, he has a funny way of showing it when he's talking on the record. He's really passionate about what he does.
Oh yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
he has a plan.
It doesn't come across necessarily to the general public.
It does not.
He's got a special level of intensity to what he does.
He really, really does. And I don't think enough people really, really know that. And he takes it very, very seriously. He wants this team to succeed. And it's not even just a pride thing like, hey, I'm going to be the guy who's going to build the roster to get it done or anything. He just wants to win. He wants to put a team on the field that's going to compete. I think that's one of the reasons why you see him making a lot of moves, why you see him be aggressive, why you see, hey, listen, I don't have a quarterback I'm paying, so I'm free to do a lot of things because I'm not weighed down by a quarterback that's making 40, 50, $60 million against the cap. So I can do all sorts of things and shuffle things around and try to find the right formula, the right guys that are going to help us win a championship. I really, really think that he's taking it very seriously. I don't know if he feels like pressure, like he's on a hot seat or anything like that, but he's definitely, if anything, I think the coaching change might just make him act with more urgency.
Oh yeah. I could see that too. It's one of the things to remember is that in this world, which by the way, all exists under the same roof over on the South Side. They're all in the same building. They're all bumping into each other and saying good morning with their coffees and every day. Omar loses that automatic and built-in respect that he had from Mike Tomlin, mutual respect. A lot of guys in that building, this includes players. A clean slate has a lot of good things to it, but a clean slate also means whatever you did in the past, you did in the past.
Yeah.
You have to show everybody all over again what you can do. That even applies to Cam Hayward and TJ Watt. It just does.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like Patrick Graham's not going to know who they are when he walks in. Okay. But it's going to be more like, oh, I didn't know that about you. I didn't know you were that kind of leader, or I didn't know that you were the first guy in every drill or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
The last guy off the field. I didn't know that about you. There are little messages that you want to send if you're a player to your coaches to your GM, but also your GM to all of these other new guys. You know, when they talk to you and you have your meetings and they say, well, I could really use somebody who could do this. Omar.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's a little bit of extra pressure on Omar to say, you know what? I mean, that guy wants that. He's made a convincing case. He's shown me data. He's shown me video. Let's see what I can do for him.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of pressure is what I'm saying.
No, I agree with that. And I think I talked about it, or we talked about it last week on the show. I'm interested to see, and this week is going to be the first time that we're going to start to see even the first little bit of how Omar and Mike work with each other. Because it's not going to be the same as the way Omar and Mike Tomlin work together. Because, Mike Tomlin and Mike McCarthy are not the same guy. Just the things that I've heard about him in terms of how he deals with the media is already way different. Like already way different than what Mike Tomlin did. So that's just one little thing that has even nothing to do with his actual job of being the head coach. So this dynamic of how things are going to work with Omar and Mike and how Mike is going to – I'm curious to see how this is going to work, because if Mike's like, hey, listen, Omar, I know that like the past couple of years you guys haven't prioritized a wide receiver or getting like another like WR1 type or even just a legit WR2. It ain't going to fly with me, man. We got to have receivers. We got to have receivers with what I do.
Ixnay on that, says McCarthy. Ixnay, man. What were you doing?
Yeah.
What were you doing, Omar? Like, this might be more like one at the bar after they've had at least one or two drinks and can get real candid. What did you think was going to come out of your offense that had Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson as your WR2 options? Let me pick your brain on that one, Omar.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will also be curious to hear from both of them about just their interactions. That was something that both Omar and Mike Tomlin were really candid about. That was when they would do all of their, He-Man bonding and stuff, driving from city to city, from college to college, from pro day to pro day and all that stuff, and to Mobile and to everywhere else. I'm more than anything, I'm excited to start seeing some wheels turning here.
Yep.
Let's start getting a sense for what it is that they want to do rather than what it is that we want to see them do, and then try to put it into a more everything that we're talking about and thinking about into a more realistic context.
Yep. No, that's really what this week is, and I put up a quick preview on our app on DK Pittsburgh Sports, and I pretty much saying that this is really the start. This is the beginning. Yes, there have already been things done in place. You've filled out the coaching staff. They've been having meetings preparing for this. They're not going into this blind. They have a game plan coming into this, but this is when the wheels really start, because it's not just draft stuff. Obviously, the draft is a big part of why everybody's here, because the 319 players are the 319 players that are going to be eligible to be drafted. So yeah, the draft is a big part of this week, but all the GMs are here. So seeds are going to be planted for trades, because GMs talk. They talk all the time, but it's a lot easier
they do.
Talk. But GMs also talk a lot more often whenever they are in the same place as others. Seeds will be planted for trades. There will be other things done to set the wheels in motion toward free agency, and then obviously toward the draft. And again, like I remember last year, one of the players I heard when I was having meetings that I heard, hey, we loved our interview with Derek Harmon. Loved our interview with him. And lo and behold, that's who ended up taking in the first round. It's not the only guy that I heard that they loved. It was one of them. And so I'm curious to see like all these different wheels that start going toward the draft, toward free agency. Omar, Mike McCarthy, all these guys. It's a fun week. It really, really is.
We're going to take some pull-out questions here from members of our DK Pittsburgh Sports Steelers YouTube channel. If you're a member, we appreciate you a whole lot extra, because you're supporting what it is that we do on this channel. If you're not a member and you'd like to become one, go to dkps.net/join. And the join is all lowercase, JOIN. dkps.net/join. You can see it on the video version of this show at the bottom of the screen. Let's go to some of these here. Wandering Warrior says, Chris, top 5 players you're interested in. Let's do away with the 5 and just give me one. One guy that you're really interested in seeing out there, or even just learning more about.
I'm going with the receiver position. I'll go with 2. I'll give 2. Mekhi Lemon, I want to see him on the field, man. I want to see him actually I want to see not just what the 40 looks like, but when he's doing the different, drills where he's running routes and catching passes. But I'm obviously more curious to see how he answers questions, how he handles himself, because he plays a lot bigger than his actual size. And I'm just, he's a dog. As of right now, pre-combine, that would be a phenomenal pick to me. You probably have to trade up to get him, but then Denzel Boston's another guy. He's a bigger body type, another receiver.
Mekhi Lemon can be a dog. He is not
the dog.
The dog.
But Denzel Boston's another one, man. He's a big guy, big body receiver. Really curious to see how the workouts go, just to quantify that a little bit. But again, a lot of this week is also how they answer questions, how they handle themselves. Sure. I remember last year, Matthew Golden was one of those guys that was just, when he got to the podium, I was like, wow, that dude is impressive.
Our friend Steeler Girl from out in Hawaii has been a member for a long time. She asks, did Aaron Rodgers retire yet? Asking for a friend. Aaron is not retired. Aaron, I don't know why he would leave himself in play to this stage and then just, forget it. Generally speaking, when players of his caliber make the decision that they make, something happened, meaning usually physically, where they just say, I'm not doing this again. I'm not. I've had, Marquise Pouncey really stands out to me in this regard. That ankle of his, what he was doing just to suit up was criminal. And finally, he just went, that's it, not again. I don't know if Rodgers is going to do that, but I think he's going to come back. I didn't see anything physically keeping him from coming back.
I would lean also that he is going to come back, but I don't think it's a full blown guarantee yet either. I still think that and this week we'll get an update on that. I'm curious to see, but I know the Steelers are interested. It's not a Rodgers or bust situation with them. That's why a guy like Malik Willis, is what I've been told so far, is at least on their radar. But they are interested in Rodgers, so no, he has not retired yet. Still possible. I don't think it's a slam dunk that he comes back, but it wouldn't surprise me if he does.
Ryan asks, Chris, do you agree that the combine is dying and that teams are just losing interest? What the heck? No offense, Ryan, but what? No, it's the NFL.
No.
It's the NFL.
I know that there's been talk of the combine moving.
That's different.
Away from Indianapolis. I also think, and I'm not saying this because I have been here now, I think this is my 4th combine. It's a lot of, and I'm not saying it because like Indianapolis is a lot of fun for something like this. Indianapolis is a perfect town for an event like this. It's a city, so it's big. It's a city, but it's small enough where everything still feels connected, and nobody feels.
In some cases, it is connected.
No, true, because it's the Indiana Convention Center just weaves through the entire downtown pretty much. But yeah, no, it's no, and I think it would be a gigantic mistake if they did move it. And I don't know how hard Jerry Jones is pushing for it to be in the DFW area, and as somebody who lived in the DFW area for 23 years, that would be a gigantic mistake. Huge mistake.
Pete comes in with a $5 contribution. Pressure has to be there at every management position, or they aren't taking the job seriously. Excuse me. What do you think? I say it's still wide receiver. Oh, you bet.
Yeah, I mean, there's, like I said, Omar takes his position very, very seriously. He is very passionate about what he does. Again, it doesn't come across when you see the videos tomorrow that we post on our YouTube channel of Omar answering questions. He's not going to look like a guy who's really intense. He's not going to make you want to run through a brick wall with what he says. That's just not his demeanor. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't act with that kind of urgency, with that kind of pressure. No, he feels the pressure. Absolutely does.
The combine gets going. Chris, you're gonna do the sign off today, man. I got hiccups like out of nowhere, like galore. You laugh at me. I don't care.
Just hold your breath for 10 seconds and they'll go away. Yeah, just hold your breath. There you go. You don't have to make the face what you do. Andy asks me, Chris, do you think both Aaron and Malik will join the Steelers this year? No, I don't think that. I think if Aaron comes back, I don't think they try to also sign Malik Willis. I think if they were to sign one of them, that would be their that would be their anticipated starter. So if Aaron comes back and that's who they sign, he'll be the starter. If he doesn't come back, things don't work out for whatever reason, and they sign Malik Willis, then he'll be the starter going forward, and then they could possibly draft another guy. Will Howard can work his way to the number 2, whatever it is. But no, it would not be both. How are your hiccups? Really? Really? That's funny. Let me see if there are a couple of any other questions. I don't want to mess anything, especially our super chats, guys who have contributed. Really appreciate you guys. DK, if at least you see another question, you could put it on the screen. I don't think you need to speak to do that. I'll put this up there too. Nelson says, if Rodgers doesn't give him an answer by March 1st, will they attempt to sign a free agent quarterback? Well, free agency doesn't start until March 9th, so they don't have to pivot that quickly. I also don't think you have to pivot away from Rodgers until at least the start of free agency. You'll probably have an answer by then, or at least a better indication of what he's going to do by then. And I'm going to try to work to find this out a little bit more this week, or at least to get it corroborated this week. I have a really good feeling right now. Again, I could find this out different one way or the other for sure, but I have a feeling that they want their quarterback in place by the time the offseason programs begin. That is much, much earlier than the mandatory minicamp when Rodgers signed last year. That will begin in April. So that's going to be much, much earlier than we saw last year. So whether it's Rodgers, Malik Willis, anybody else, does a pun scare DK's hiccups away? Where's Chris with the pun jokes when we need them the most? That's funny. That's funny because holding my breath for 10 seconds always makes my hiccups go away. That's funny. DK hates puns more than hiccups. Well, I don't know, because the hiccups right now are keeping you completely silent.
They're not going away.
All right, we'll take a couple more and then we'll hop off. I gotta get checked into my hotel room anyway. Take 9 sips of coffee that will kill the hiccups. Go get your coffee. That's so funny.
I feel better already.
Jonathan asks, if Rodgers comes back, would they be interested in Ty Simpson to sit behind him for a year? I don't know if you have to name Ty Simpson as a guy. They could potentially draft a quarterback to sit behind Aaron Rodgers. They could also challenge Will Howard to be that guy. So, yeah, it depends. They're going to learn a lot more about the quarterbacks this week, I can tell you that. It'll be, I think, 16 quarterbacks this week. Now, Fernando Mendoza will be here. He will not work out, which is not surprising.
What's he doing there then?
Well, he'll do the
meetings. Doing just like eating at McDonald's.
What's he doing? he'll do the formal meetings and the informal meetings. Any teams that want to meet with him. He also doesn't. I mean, he's in a position to be 1-1 in the draft. So,
yeah,
I mean, it's not like he has to do a whole bunch to boost his draft stock. A guy like Drew Aller, if you can get on the field, you need to do it. You got to improve your draft stock the most you possibly can after a year in which your draft stock went from being first-round pick to you better hope you're a day 2 pick. Like, you got to do everything you can to boost that thing up. So every guy has got different reasons for being here. So double shot of hiccups. That's funny. All right. Well, I'll do the sign off for DK as he's struggling with the hiccups. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to be in this tiny box all week long. I'll be calling in from Indianapolis. I will be reporting. So if you don't have our app, you can get that. That will have everything, but also our YouTube posts. All of the stuff that I'll be reporting on this channel will be in our YouTube posts. So whether you have our app, you have YouTube, you will stay plugged in no matter what from all my reporting. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.